Hi, it's Richard here from the OPA Hub website again, with the second in our video series of What's New in Oracle Policy Automation, May 2017 edition. This episode could be entitled Back to the Future, only it's Back to the Future with better stuff than before. Let me explain. We're going to talk in this episode about the new architecture for adding JavaScript to your policy modeling projects. In this particular video, I'm going to focus on how you use JavaScript to provide custom styling to elements in your interview or specific controls. So, first of all, what are we talking about? Here I am in the Interview tab, and I'm going to go to the Styles dialog. I'm going to stick with the latest version, so I'm not going to be using August 2016 version, which many of you know as the workaround. I'm going to stick with the latest, and I'm going to open up my Custom Files folder. In the Custom Files folder, as you can see, I have a JavaScript file, and I have a CSS file. So as before, these files, if they're present in resources, or if they're present in these folders, then you will get those files loaded when we go through the interview, loaded when we see each screen. But thankfully, the manner in which we write JavaScript and the manner in which we manage JavaScript now has been enhanced and improved. To explain a little further, here is myextensions.js. You will observe that it now is a extension. So it's actually a managed extension of the Oracle Policy Automation experience. The structure, as you can see, I have a style element here. So this is a styling extension. In another video, we'll look at the other kind of things you can do to handle custom events and so forth. And I've simply used calendar input and class name. This is a CSS class, and the CSS class is over here somewhere. There it is, my control style date. So it just plays around with the color of the date box with a background color and slightly different padding and so forth. So let's see what that gives in the Oracle Policy Automation. Let's go into the debugger, which I already have here. As you can see, the shipment date, which is a date control, has a slightly different visual aspect with a sort of pinkish border and a light blue filling, courtesy of the styling of the calendar input. Those of you, well, this should all look very familiar. This is pretty standard JavaScript object. And my date here is the format. So if you want to do several, what you do need to know is that you're only allowed one style extension per interview, as far as I understand it. So if you're going to do multiples, you're going to need to put them all inside one extension. So now I'm changing the style of the text input and the next button. Let's switch back to the debug. The debug has detected changes. So now I'm using a different style for my text boxes and a third style for my button. One thing, of course, to remember is that here in the debugger, you are, for all intents and purposes, well, you are using Internet Explorer, not even for all intents and purposes. So you would be well advised to check the behavior of other browsers. Lord knows there's enough of them. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this into Chrome. And you can see that in Chrome, I can actually see the text of the button, even though it is quite ugly. Whereas in Internet Explorer embedded, I can't. But that's beside the point. The point is that we now have a well-defined extension structure for adding styles to our interview or controls in our interview and binding them to CSS styles. So officially, these are known as styling extensions because we are essentially creating an object using add extension, and we are only specifying styles. And there are a bunch of examples. As I said earlier, if you're going to do multiple style changes in an interview, you will need to have one style section and all of your child elements within there. You can't have multiples of these. Other than that, that'll do for today. It's a great new start for the use of JavaScript in Oracle Policy Modeling. Until then, speak to you soon.